Got me hot. Yeah. Got me hot.
We're brothers. We're happy and we're singing and we're colored. Give me a high five.
Welcome to another edition of BroTalk Live, the best show in late night for you by us. BroTalk, we're always on the mark. Main man, Jason, in the director's seat as usual. Thanks for tuning in on another Tuesday night with the crew. Let's kick it over to my main man, Dex. What up, bro?
Dexter Stuckey here, ladies and gentlemen. The countdown is on. We are officially 25 days away from Father's Day 2025. I know we're all excited about it. Father's Day is loading. I cannot wait. I'm super excited. Father's Day 2025 is 25 days away.
Did he freeze for you too, Bill?
Nope, he didn't freeze for me, but praise God.
Yeah, praise God.
There you go. All right, go ahead, Bill. Welcome back to the show.
Well, greetings and salutations. I'm yet in the land of the living, and it's just a joy to be here. I'm sitting here, Ray Charles to the
to the BS. Okay.
No.
Okay. Dex, I think you might be a little disappointed in Father's Day. Like you're making
I bet you I won't.
It's not that big of a deal.
I bet you it is.
Well, I sure hope you like.
Okay.
I sure hope you like socks.
I'm gonna. You know what? The next episode of Bro Talk. Well, you know what? The first episode of Bro Talk in the month of June, I'm going to give the rules of Father's Day.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start preparing those rules.
Are there consequences if those rules aren't followed?
They'll be followed.
Oh, big dog.
Yeah.
Bill, how was Doubt's vacation for the last 3 or 4 weeks that you've been on?
I have not been vacationing. I've been working with the United States Army.
Okay.
Contrary to popular belief, it seems everybody seems to think I'm on vacation. My job thinks I'm on vacation when I'm doing Army stuff. The Army thinks I'm on vacation when I'm doing stuff for work. The whole problem is vacation has not seen me in quite some time. So
Okay.
everybody thinks I'm on vacation except vacation.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll get to know vacation a little bit better. Ty is on the show tonight. He is actually here. He just has not turned on his camera yet, so I don't think he's quite ready. And I'm not just going to put him on the spot. So we'll check in with Ty when he gets here. Dex, what's up? What's up first?
Oh, you know what? I messed this up before, but I got it fixed now. We're gonna start Bro Talk Live with politics as usual.
Hey.
Politics as usual.
Joe Biden, the 82-year-old former president and the oldest to ever hold the office, has been diagnosed with advanced aggressive prostate cancer. According to his office, the cancer has spread to his bones. It's a late-stage diagnosis, a Gleason score of 9, which experts say indicates the most aggressive form of prostate cancer. But here's the thing. While Biden's team says that cancer is hormone sensitive and manageable with treatment, the timing and the opacity surrounding his health have raised questions and opened the floodgates for political attacks. Donald Trump initially responded with a rare moment of sympathy, posting well wishes to Biden and his family. Donald, are you here?
Greetings, boys. It took me a little while because the dementia, it's the sun begins to set. You understand, boys? And maybe you don't, maybe you do. But Melania and I are very saddened to hear about Crooked Joe's recent medical diagnosis. We extend our warmest and best wishes to...
Could you imagine if he actually called him Crooked Joe?
I would scream. Do you hear me?
That would be the
To the alleged Dr. Jill and the family, we wish Sleepy Joe a fast and successful recovery. Maybe he's sleeping through it. Maybe he's not. You never know with the crooked left. Witch hunt. Hoax.
Well, he never actually just for the podcast listeners, this what Bill read is not actually what he wrote. We just, for the sake of accuracy,
right? I assure you, it's what he meant. It's what he meant to write.
But he kind of wrote a straight, just, I'm saddened to hear about Joe's recent medical diagnosis. We extend our warmest and best wishes to Jill and the family, and we wish Joe a fast and successful recovery. But that tone didn't last long, because just a day later, this is how Trump responded when asked about Joe's diagnosis.
Do you want to respond to President Biden being diagnosed with cancer? Are you going to call your predecessor?
I think it's very sad, actually. I'm surprised that it wasn't, the public wasn't notified a long time ago, because to get to stage 9, that's a long time. I just had my physical. You saw that. You saw the results of that particular test. I think that test is standard to pretty much anybody getting a physical, good physical. We had the doctors at the White House and over at Walter Reed, which is a fantastic hospital. I did a very complete physical, including cognitive tests. I'm proud to announce I aced it. Got them all. I got them all right. You proud of me? Yes. Your husband would be proud of me for getting them all right. It's a little risk. If I didn't get them all right, these people would be after me. It would be not a good situation. But I think, frankly, anybody running for president should take a cognitive test. They say it's.
Got them all right, Bill. Got them all right.
Got him all right. As if. What does it have to do with Joe being diagnosed with cancer, sir?
He got his all right. That's all that matters. He told reporters that Biden has stage 9 cancer, a term that doesn't even exist medically, sparking both mockery for his comments and concerns over his remarks. As you can see here, people on Twitter took him to task. At I'm to Blame says Trump said Biden got stage 9 cancer, and we just got to go about our day like the dumbest white man to ever live isn't occupying the White House. And then Jessica Tarlov from, I think she is on Fox. She's on that 5 show.
Last name.
Tarlov. She said, if anyone has cognitive issues, it's the man who thinks Joe Biden has stage 9 cancer and runs around telling everyone how he passed a cognitive test by remembering Person Man TV. Wasn't there another movie? Was the Person Man remote? There was a 4th word in there. I can't remember.
Let's go.
We went past our test, so we won't know.
And then came the MAGA pile on. MAGA allies like General Michael Flynn and Congressman Ronnie Jackson are calling for Biden's longtime physician, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, to be subpoenaed. They're accusing him of a cover-up, alleging that Biden's true health status was hidden from the public while he was still in office. O'Connor, who's treated Biden since his vice presidency with Obama, defended Biden's fitness as recently as last year, writing, the president feels well and this year's physical identified no new concerns. He continues to be fit for the duty and fully executes all of his responsibilities without any exemptions or accommodations. President Biden is a healthy, active, robust 81-year-old male who remains fit to successfully execute the duties of the presidency and to include those as chief executive, head of state, and commander in chief. Now, Republicans, on the other hand, are claiming that he misled the nation either through negligence or political intent. And let's be clear, there's no public evidence to suggest medical fraud or anything here, but that hasn't stopped MAGA before. They're now labeling this the most dangerous cover-up in U.S. history.
Oh, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me.
Donald Trump Jr. even questioned why Dr. Jill Biden didn't detect, quote unquote, stage 5 metastatic cancer. Also not a medically recognized term. Cancer has 4 stages, guys.
Literally, only 4. Five,
not
you're in the box.
Yeah, I don't know where are they getting these numbers from?
Critics argue that, of course, this is exploiting a personal tragedy, but supporters say that the public deserves answers. So the question that we're putting on the table today, and for you watching at home, is there no bottom for MAGA America and their supporters? And are you at all surprised by the angle this has taken? Because we did talk about this a couple of weeks ago, and we said Biden wasn't doing well, and how would Trump respond? And now we see.
To be specific,
I think the only thing. Go ahead. Sorry.
To be specific, we talked about this last week. And
was it last week?
Yes. The question that you said to me was, do you think that Joe's health doing bad? Do you think Donald Trump will let up? And I specifically said no. And I was right.
You were right. 100. You were spot on. Spot on. 1 week later.
The only thing that shocked me about this, to be honest with you, is that first day where they tried to have some decorum, like, and they were all like doing the well wishes things. Actually, that is the only thing that shocked me about this whole process, that they wrote all those statements that they all retracted 24 hours later. And then they became their real selves for the remainder of the time. It also surprises me that no one cared that Trump said 9 in that moment, or maybe they did. Maybe they just like glossed over it and had to go look it up. Followed by his son's 5.
Took 4.
They don't know a lot about cancer, which I think is great. Maybe
it just sucks that they, defunded the whole Cancer Research Institute for the National Institutes of Health as part of the Doge cuts, right? So they won't know anymore.
What's interesting to me is how well and how fit do they expect an 82-year-old man to be? Like, look at I would encourage them, if they still have them, to look at their grandparents when they were in their 80s, or if they're in their 80s, and let's take a gander at what their grandparents went through or had or struggled with in their 80s.
Their grandparents don't know them.
Well, the problem is, never mind. I'm going to stop there.
There we go.
Well, I think what sucks is, though, the criticism is that they're saying we should have known about this.
Yeah, and for an 81-year-old man, like, what are you talking about?
We should have known about this because he was still trying to run for president. And like, I don't think him having, and I don't want to come across like I'm one of these people that I'm saying like, oh, I don't care what happens with the presidency and president and his health. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is that, like, whether he had it or not, like, it didn't affect the outcome of the election. So like, why are we harping on that? Why are we even talking about that? It didn't affect the outcome of the election, and I don't think it affected how he ran the country either.
Yes, I mean,
the most dangerous cover-up in American history is
saying
so egregious, so egregious, that I'm actually shocked that they went there, because there has to be a bottom. Like, your question is there no bottom? And my thing is, like, doesn't there have to be?
No.
And this is also the same group of people who are currently trying to cover up slavery. So like, that is going to be the biggest cover up.
They are currently embroiled. They are currently embroiled in a cover up, the most scandalous cover up in American history. Currently, day by day, this administration is the most scandalous cover up in American history.
Like, I look at Enron, I look at 9/11.
I look at the Trump administration.
I look at
that recovery has already been cut. Like, we already know about it, and you're just backtracking like we don't already know.
I look at weapons of mass destruction. I look at weapons of mass destruction in Kuwait. I look at Adolf Hitler dying in a bunker in 1945.
Don't start that again.
Then I look at the Trump administration, who is literally trying to strip habeas corpus. The president asked Congress and the Senate to suspend their powers so that he could make unilateral decisions. And we are only close to 200 days in.
That's it.
You know what else? One more thing that really is the most dangerous cover-up in American history. They sat there with a straight face and said, Donald Trump is 215 pounds.
Let's talk about it.
And they want to subpoena Joe Biden's doctor. I want all American president doctors to be subpoenaed then, because we want answers. Why are they covering up something as silly as Trump's weight?
Speaking of covering up, Bill, they want to know why you got them shades
on. For several reasons that I'm not answering on public TV for the safety and sake of the show. God bless.
Okay. Other fashion news. Shakima likes your hat, Dex.
Thank you. Dad gang. 25 days until Father's Day. 25 days.
Okay. Are we going to put a countdown up every day? I feel like we should.
Yeah.
BroTalk Live Father's Day countdown.
BroTalk Live Father's Day countdown. We 25 days away.
Lastly, before we move on from this topic, do you feel sorry for Biden, regardless of all these politics? Like, this is kind of a terrible kind of year that Biden's had. You know, he got kicked out around this time last year out of the office, and you know, pretty much everything that's gone bad could have gone bad, has gone bad for Biden. He did get his pardons out, but do you feel bad for him that he's going to kind of go down like this?
Go down like what?
You know, with his enemy in office prodding at him, ridiculing him, and an
All he has to
investigation
do is
to his
turn off
family.
television, and he will have lived a very robust life. He's fine.
Robust.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. Perspective. Dex, nothing.
You know, it's weird because like I was listening to something the other day. I watched an interview. Actually, it was Joe and Jill doing an interview, and then they kind of like went down like all these things that he's dealt with throughout his life, and they were talking about his first wife and their baby passed in a car accident, which is insane to me. Then they talked about his other son passing away. Then they talked about his other son struggling with drug addiction. Then they talked about him losing to Donald Trump, and it's just like what a life that man lived. Like there is so much like tragedy in his life, and I think that he's always found a way to bounce back. And I know he's like 82 years old, but I really do hope he beats this. I do.
Well, there's only so much beating you can do at 82 because you ain't got much longer.
Ah, damn. Like, I was trying to end on a nice note.
No, because we got to be real, right? Like,
come on, Stevie Wonder, damn.
At 82 years old, how much longer do you need?
I mean, but we still want him to have. We want him to have a nice transition. Let's also be real, right?
Let's also be. Joe Biden served with people in Congress who were born in the 1800s during slave. Like, huh? What are we talking about?
Fun
I
fact.
think this is a lesson, though, right? Like you work. It doesn't matter really what industry you're in. I mean, he just happened to be president. You retire, and then bam, here comes the cancer. You got
let's not go that far.
Earlier.
Let's not go that far though, because Joe Biden didn't have to be doing this until 82 years old either. Like you really could have stepped.
You didn't do his books. You don't know his finances was looking like.
Well, guess what, buddy? Maybe that ship sailed a long time ago. I don't know.
Sorry, Joe, you can't retire on this Congress salary. You're gonna have to be president.
You got to be president.
You got to be president.
All right. They want to know, is that Eagles green? What's for who? Actually, have on Eagles green?
Oh, come on, like next.
And they want to know, Shakeem is on fire today. Which I count down for the days until you get a tie and got to grill your own dinner. It's Father's Day.
Next week, I'm gonna push it up. Next week, tune in for the rules of Father's Day.
Okay, awesome.
Coach Shakeem, that boy better not have to grill his own daggone dinner.
President Trump is warning House Republicans not to push too far when it comes to cutting Medicaid. His exact words: "Don't F around." The warning comes as the GOP promotes a massive spending bill aimed at saving $880 billion, with the biggest single chunk of that, around $625 billion, coming from Medicaid cuts. A new estimate from the Congressional Budget Office says that the Medicaid changes could push 10.3 million people off of the program, and 7.6 million of them would be left completely uninsured. But that includes large numbers of low-income and rural voters who typically support Trump. And while he backs the bill overall, Trump insists that the plan will preserve Medicaid for groups like seniors, children, and pregnant women. Not everyone in his party agrees. Republican Senator Josh Hawley, the person who had his fist up during that insurrection, is calling the cuts morally wrong and warns that they could be politically suicidal.
It is wrong to cut health care for the working poor. And that's what we're talking about here with Medicaid. They're not on Medicaid because they want to be. They're on Medicaid because they cannot afford health insurance in the private market. These are working people and their children who need health care. And it's just wrong to go and cut their health care when they're trying to make ends meet, trying to help their kids, trying to make sure that they're able to provide for their families. So I hope that the House GOP and the Senate GOP will get the message here.
Bill, he fell on that. That's constituent pressure right there.
And because they was calling that office.
You know they was. They was
ringing.
They was turning him every which way but loose.
Every which way but loose.
At the same time, GOP fundraising is taking a hit. Elon Musk, who spent more than $250 million backing Trump's political machine, now says that he's done. He told the Qatar Economic Forum,
I think In terms of political spending, I'm going to do a lot less in the future.
And why is that?
I think I've done enough.
Is it because of blowback?
Well, if I see a reason to do political spending in the future, I will do it. I do not currently see a reason.
Okay. What about
Elon seemed a little upset with somebody.
I know why too.
He's pissed off. This comes after Musk's preferred candidate lost in Wisconsin, despite a record-setting $21 million he spent in donations. Since then, Musk has backed away from both political spending and his controversial role in federal public policy. Now, if Trump's base depends on Medicaid, will cuts costs? We've been asking this literally every time they do something that we think is a travesty. But will any of this end up making a difference? He doesn't have to run again. I don't think the people who are on Medicaid are necessarily going to be the first people out there protesting because, it's just accessibility issues with that. But do you think that these cuts will somehow impact him and the GOP in, 2026 for the midterm elections? And without the cash from Elon, are things pointing down for MAGA?
The cash didn't help those people at all to begin with. Like, he was out there handing out them checks for $1 million over here, and then people like, yeah, we got you, Elon. We're going to put your people in, Elon. And they took them checks and walked that voting booth. Was like, Democrat.
Well, obviously that didn't happen because, well,
Well, it happened in Wisconsin.
It happened in Wisconsin.
And also, I think Elon, it's funny that Elon's like, oh, I'm not going to spend any more money with the GOP. A week after Donald talks about this mysterious fat friend who's on the fat drug and not losing no weight and spending all this money on it. Elon, we now know you're that fat friend.
Yeah. We talked about it last week. That's exactly who it is.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think a big deal that Elon's done spending money? Or he says he's done, because he did also kind of walk that back in the same sentence. Well, if I find a need to support, then I'll support, but I currently don't see a need.
If I bought the nicest car on the market and I tell you I'm done spending money on cars, would you care? He already bought the presidency. What else does he need to buy? Like, he bought the presidency. Like, I'm gonna buy some random governor now. What am I gonna buy?
Not only did he buy the presidency, he's shipping those Afrikaans right here to America.
And yeah, exactly.
See,
I got everything I needed out of this situation. That's why I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not spending more money because I bought what I need.
And he said, unless I see something else I need to buy, then I'll give them more money. When I need something else done, I'll give them more money. I think it's weird that we're asking, like, oh, why are you not spending any more money? Instead of asking, why did you do this in the first place?
Right.
And that's what she should have asked them, but she didn't, because we know why.
Bill, I was curious how you felt about the Great Migration.
You know how
I feel about it. Them people don't belong here. They stole up that land in South Africa, and now they're trying to steal up some land here. They've been stealing all their lives.
Well, we got a direct question for you from a watcher. They said, any comment on Trump's military birthday parade? Are you familiar with it?
Yes, I am.
They said maybe we should ask the people if they want to pay for this. What do you think?
First of all, thank you for the question, Diane, and I'm super glad that you're watching. Thanks for the support. This is one of my good friends, and she's been supporting us over the years. Allow me to say this. I don't think we should be having a military birthday parade for a president who should be elected by democratic terms, because that lets me know that you're a tyrant, right? Like, when you had the chance to serve in our military, not only did you not serve, but you lied.
Oh.
You lied to the American people, and you told them you had bone spurs. When the reality was you were just afraid to go to Vietnam.
Well,
and now you want to be in charge of them. You also have more than 11 bankruptcies, and you hold the nation's highest security clearance. With one bankruptcy, none of my military friends could get a bank. None of us could get a security clearance. With one bankruptcy, with student loans, right? We struggle to get a security clearance. But this man, with more than 11 has the top security clearance in the world. That's a problem. As far as people paying for it, the people voted him in. They're paying for every single thing he wants done. He's already spent more than $100 million on golf alone. He hasn't done anything, just played golf. And taxpayers have paid for it. So I think the answer should come in our next election cycle when we put him out and don't elect any of his friends.
If he leaves.
Yeah, if Sweet Daddy wants to go.
If he allows us to,
if he chooses to.
If he allows us to kick him out.
If he be so kind.
All right, and that's that on that. Thanks, Bill. Let's move to the scoop. All right, guys. We've been covering every angle of this trial. Sean Diddy Combs, as you all know, is on trial in federal court, facing charges that include sex trafficking, racketeering, and transporting individuals for illegal sexual activity. But for the second week, it wasn't just the charges that rocked the courtroom. It was the testimony. Last week, we told you about Cassie's heartbreaking testimony. And this week, former Danny Kaye member Don Richard took the stand, claiming Diddy threatened to make people, quote unquote, disappear. She said she interpreted that as a death threat and testified to witnessing him physically abuse Cassie, describing him dragging her, kicking her, and punching her in the mouth. Then came the photo evidence, graphic images of bruises, drugs, including pink ketamine, and large sums of cash were presented to the jury. These photos, linked by the Department of Justice, back up longstanding accusations of coercion and abuse. Cassie also testified about a near fatal overdose Diddy suffered after a sex party and a Playboy Mansion event in 2012, pointing to years of shared drug abuse and emotional manipulation. She described him as controlling and said that he became enraged if she started using drugs without him. And it didn't stop there. A former assistant described a 2008 standoff where Diddy allegedly armed himself with 3 handguns, left the freak off, and drove to confront Suge Knight outside a diner in LA. He said it was the first time he feared for his life while working for Diddy. Additionally, Cassie's mom, Regina, testified that Combs threatened to release a sex tape of Cassie unless Regina wired him $20,000. He said this was to recoup money that he's already invested in Cassie, and it just so happened to be once Cassie started dating rapper Kid Cudi, who will take the stand before next week, so we'll have some updates on that. Regina said that she took out a home equity loan to pay the $20,000 to Puff Daddy, who is, by the way, was close to being a billionaire. So what were you guys most surprised to learn about in reference to Diddy over the past week?
You want an honest answer?
Honestly.
The honest answer to that question is what I was most intrigued to learn over the last week is that the CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch was arrested for almost the identical same thing as Diddy. The difference is he was deemed incapable of standing trial. And so while it happened amongst a group of his friends, they were not hit with a RICO charge, and now he doesn't have to stand trial, and he will get off for the exact same thing that Diddy did.
And
that's what I was most interested to find out.
Lawyers.
Yeah, no. First of all, no. No. I think what I'm most interested in, not necessarily with Diddy or anything with him, because I'm not shocked by anything that I'm seeing or hearing. I'm really disgusted. No. Okay. Because, to be honest with you, I've read these things. When the lawsuits first started to come out, Don's, I read it, Cassie's, I read it, and they were long, and I read them, and they kind of said everything that we're seeing right now. But I do realize that a lot of other people did not read them, and they don't pay attention to these trial updates like I do, which I get it. People have jobs, so I get it. But I read this stuff, and I'm up on it, and I'm really familiar with what I'm reading and whatnot. And what bothers the hell out of me is the reaction of people outside of it. A lot of people throw racism in it. I don't give a damn if the people are being racist. What he did was horrible, and he should be on trial for it. So, I don't care about racism in this situation. I don't care. Secondly, Yesterday there was this thing that went out on all the black blogs and even some black entertainers where they posted these are the 13 escorts that Diddy was using for Cassie, and I thought that was so disgusting. And we're a group of people that continue to holler like protect black women, this, that, and the third. One of these men in these photos was forced to urinate in this girl's mouth. So how are we talking about protect somebody and we're posting pictures like that and then we think it's funny? I'm like so disgusted with people and how they are reacting to this trial. That's the most shocking to me, and I shouldn't be shocked, but I am. It's disgusting.
One of them also murdered someone apparently as well. Like they have like a body.
The one guy is the one who recently, fairly with 2018, I think it was, he went into like Trump Tower and like shot inside of there, Trump Hotel, and he shot inside of there, and he was on video and he was saying all this stuff, and I think people dismissed it at the time because it sounded crazy. All the stuff he was saying was turned out to be true as far as his involvement. Jonathan Oddie, if you look him up on TikTok, like you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm just really disgusted with what I see people saying and doing on
also,
social media.
let me clarify, because Dex made a statement like he don't care about racism. Two things can be true at a time, right? Like,
yeah, well, we're talking about that though.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the two things can be true at a time, right? Like Diddy absolutely in this entire situation is disgusting, but there are two different justice systems at work here, and it needs to be highlighted. Like they both should be on trial for exactly doing the exact same thing. The difference is that they're not, right? Like, so two things can be true at a time.
Yes, but if you wanted to talk about that, then you should have brought that up, but you didn't. We're specifically talking about Diddy at this moment, and I'm not saying you specifically, but I feel like this is happening a lot with a lot of black men, where they're bringing any and every other type of conversation into it, when like the conversation is about Diddy right now, and like that is what we should be talking about. And I feel like when we start to throw little things in there, and you're not wrong, but I feel like when we throw little other things in there, Cassie like this, or other people did this, or the white man did this, that, and the third, like it kind of like muddies it and distracts from what we should really be talking about, which is Diddy and this criminal enterprise that he's been running for decades.
I don't think so.
Well, we also don't know the CEO of Abercrombie. Like, I don't know who that is. Like, who cares?
Me neither. I never heard that story.
Like, I mean, I hope she gets justice,
there's
but
a
it's
special
like
on like Peacock or something. It's
no,
out there.
I understand, but the reason that the Diddy one is getting so much more attention, I'm of course the Abercrombie guy should also be getting his actual justice in court, and the victim should be getting justice in court. But the reason this is a more polarizing story is not because Diddy's black, it's because he's Diddy. Like it's who the hell is the CEO of Abercrombie? Like, who gives a shit? I mean, I hope the girls get justice. I'm not saying who gives shit about
Well, I don't know if it was just girls.
Who cares about him enough to raise sand and the public pressure that it would take for it to be relitigated at this point. Todd, do you have anything to add? Are we good?
Yeah, I think we kind of beat it with a dead horse. I mean, we beat it to death, but for sure, I'm not really shocked about a lot of the Diddy stuff. Anybody with a God complex is really capable of anything. And when you're feeding people and they're feeding off of you, and there's money, and they cover things up, the most egregious things. And I don't think Diddy is the only person engaging in this stuff. I think a lot of people are doing it, and hopefully they will learn that there are consequences to these types of things. And because I think that there will be likely more people who are going to be uncovered for this type of behavior as well. But I'm not particularly shocked. It's just sad.
All right. And with that, we will move to Hit It and Quit It. We all good? Yes? Good? All right. Seems like is everybody good? Okay. Chris Brown, Ty's boy, is back in the headlines. This time, it's not about music. It's about an alleged nightclub assault that happened 2 years ago in London. He and rapper Hoodie Baby have both been charged with grievous bodily harm, and prosecutors say it was an unprovoked attack, quote unquote, on a music producer, reportedly involving a bottle at Tape nightclub. Now, here's where things get serious. Chris Brown flew back to the UK recently, got arrested in Manchester, and has been denied bail. That puts his 2025 world tour, the one that he got from residuals and all that stuff, completely in doubt. But let's be real here. We've seen Chris Brown go to jail before. We've seen him go to jail, been arrested multiple times. We've seen this pattern before. So is Chris Brown just one of those artists who can just beat the charges or beat the public scrutiny no matter what? Is there anything that he could do that would actually stop the public from actually streaming his music, selling out his shows, or the industry from promoting his music and keeping him the star that he is? He's fought off the allegations from Karrueche, he's fought off the allegations from Rihanna, and he's still out here, or the evidence, I should say, from Rihanna, and he's still out here. So is Chris Brown a Teflon Don in this media landscape? What do you think?
Well, I think Chris Brown is a black man and he's an entertainer. And I think that there is always going to be a fan base for him. And I think that, hitting people with bottles just doesn't bother certain people, just like other things, transgressions that he's done, throwing chairs out of the window in Times Square. These things don't bother people. So as long as the music is good, right?
As long as the hits keep coming, Ty, what do you think about your boy? in this behavior that you continue to allow?
You gotta admit, like, some of his songs are pretty fire. Like, so, again, I mean, isn't Chris Brown like one of those old school artists? That's how they used to act.
Old school. He's our age.
Yeah. They do drugs. They whoop you.
We're just supposed to accept that.
They act crazy, So he grew up in that era. He said he was old school. So there we go. This was 2 years ago. I didn't know this was 2 years ago. I thought this was more recent. So I have to look more into this story.
Oh, I'm sure there's something else we can find more recently.
I'm sure he's innocent until proven guilty. So we will await the facts of the trial, and we will cover it, and we will see what happens from there. And then I will make my judgment once all the facts are laid before me.
He'll wait. I'll give it to y'all right now. He hit that man in the head with that bottle. He did it. 100% Chris Brown hit that man. Remember when he threw that brick through his mom's windshield? If you throw a brick through your mom's windshield,
it's in the block.
Through your mom's windshield and throw a chair out of the window at Good Morning America, you'll do anything.
Today Show?
No, it's Good Morning America.
Oh, was it Good Morning America?
Yeah, because I remember Robin Roberts was standing there and she was like, well, I'll be damned. Like, he done threw the chair.
You ever been in a bar or in that situation and see someone bust a bottle over someone else's head? It's always like a lot going on. Could have been a safety issue. We don't know what happened.
Well, you know what? Let me say one last thing before Will goes. Ty may be right, because I do remember a couple years ago, Zac Efron, his car was stopped. He said he ran out of gas on Skid Row. And then there was a time where he threw a bottle out of the car, and the homeless people said he threw the bottle at them. And I'm sure that was just a misunderstanding. He did run out of gas. He wasn't down there trying to buy drugs and whatnot. You're right, Ty. That is exactly what happened in this situation. It was an accidental bottle hit. The bottle probably jumped off the counter and knocked that man in the head. And Chris Brown was just standing there. That's what it was.
It was very similar to when Miguel kicked that lady in the head. It was an accident.
No, not quite, because he did that too.
Performance. I was enjoying myself. And bam, the bottle slipped out of my head, knocked this guy upside his head. I tried to apologize, and he wouldn't have it because of who I was. And then, that's what happened. So you never know.
Gunna has made a move that has fans in the industry talking. He's officially covered up his YSL tattoo. So that is possibly the last visible link between him and Young Thug. Now, we all remember how tight these two were. Gunna and Thug were the trap duo, I should say, for a whole era. But ever since that Rico case and Gunna taking the plea deal, things have been murky at best. Some say this cover-up is just aesthetics. Others are calling it a public breakup. Oh my gosh, it's official. Thug didn't stay quiet. He dropped a cryptic or not so cryptic comment on Instagram saying, he said it must end. And a lot of people were like, he said it must end. What could he be referencing? Oh yeah, the end of Gunna's plea deal.
I became affiliated with YSL around 2016. Is that true as it pertains to you, Mr. Kitchens?
Yes, ma'am.
YSL is a music label and a game, and you have personal knowledge that members or associates of
Yes, ma'am.
And do you acknowledge the following statement? I recognize, accept, and deeply regret that my talent and music indirectly furthered YSL the game to the detriment of my community. YSL as a game must end. Is that your statement or acknowledgement?
Yes.
So Young Thug was listening very closely. Now we know that Gunna's camp is saying that they don't consider that snitching. He did not snitch. His legal team has been loud on that, but fans, of course, are still split. Some are riding for Thug no matter what, and others just want the hits to keep coming no matter who's making them. So let's open it up. Is it really the final nail in the coffin for Gunna and Young Thug? Do you think they'll reunite ever? And for the record, whose side are you on, Gunna or Thugs?
Look, let's talk about Diddy again. That's easier.
Much easier. Jesus in heaven.
All right, just take a side. I'm going with Gunna.
I'm going to go with Gunna too, but
he's got the hits. I'm able to excuse this behavior, Ty, for the hits, the music.
Yeah, it was excuse this behavior. I mean, I feel like people are going to take all my statements from before and like make something up.
You know, I'm 100% going to do that.
I'm really just joking. In this case, I mean, to be honest with you,
he got out. We're both out. Doesn't matter. We're both out. What's no harm, no foul. We're both out.
They're both out. Like in those cases, like what people don't understand is like, yeah, you could ride and do all this other stuff, but like they have this evidence, right? What is you confirming that you said this, you said that? Like, come on, people. If they wanted to, I mean, obviously there's so much misconduct in the trial. I guess this was on purpose that he got off, but typically, I mean, they have that information that you can confirm it. I mean, you can sit in jail with them, but they have the information. They're gonna lock you up.
It is.
So I mean,
I just don't feel like you need to publicly tell the world that you covered up the tattoo. Like, I feel like that's like taking it a little too far. That's like unfollowing me on social media when we have a
well, he didn't. He did not post a picture and say covered it up.
Well, you know, when he got that tattoo, he was showing it off, so he had to show.
He had his arm.
I feel like you didn't have to do all that. I feel like that's just taking it a little too far. Like, you didn't have to let
he was in a weights like
the label and their drawings and stuff. I mean, I'm gonna cover the tattoo as well. Why would I leave it there? Obviously, y'all hate
it's aesthetics. Like, come on, that tattoo ain't hurting nobody.
You know,
people take the tattoo very seriously. They like to point them out and tell you which one each one means. That one can't remain.
Okay. Megan Thee Stallion is upset and speaking out loud and clear, calling out not just Tory Lanez, but everyone that's still defending him. Lanez, as we told you, is serving a 10-year prison sentence after being convicted of shooting Megan back in 2020. But despite the ruling, support for him is picking up once again, fueled by big names like Drake and Chris Brown, and even a U.S. Congresswoman. Florida Representative Anna Paulina is now calling for a full pardon for Tory Lanez, saying that Tory's conviction was politically motivated and based on flawed evidence. She is promising new information within the next 36 hours that will cause people who rushed for his incarceration to be scared, and they should be prepared to be held accountable. Meanwhile, Megan says that the campaign to free Tory is just another chapter in a long, painful saga of being disbelieved, harassed, re-traumatized, all while people weaponize clout and celebrity against her truth. So let's get into it, because the story is not even about, the courtroom anymore. It's about really how we treat people after they've already got the justice that they think they've deserved, right? What do you think of the continued support for Tory Lanez, and should politicians be getting into this at all?
Well, I mean, if you're a politician in Florida, that's par for the course, because y'all ain't got nothing else to do down there. Y'all not governing. Y'all not making actual laws. People are down there eating bath salts and having fun with a swim with an alligator. So this is par for the course for Rep. Anna Paulina, whomever, because they're not doing nothing worthwhile down there. So,
okay. Shots at the Florida Congress people.
My initial thought was like, Megan, give it a rest. Like, I really am kind of tired of her talking
And
about
she's
this.
telling them to give it a rest.
Yeah, but my initial thought was like, why are you even commenting on? He's in jail, like leave it alone. But now seeing all this support that he's getting, and then seeing that the bodyguard saying Tory didn't do it, Kelsey did it. I get exactly where she's coming from now. Like, what are y'all doing at this point? Like, if Tory Lanez knew that he didn't shoot Megan Thee Stallion, and you sat there and you sat there during that trial, and you still took the blame, knowing that you know the other person who did it, you're exactly where you deserve to be. Enjoy it, and tell these other people to stop.
It's just something about them teeth I couldn't trust. I couldn't trust them teeth.
Yeah, it's too much. Ty, what do you think?
So there was enough drama with this whole trial, and I don't know facts anymore.
Which
I'm
by the
sure
way,
like
but this trial this whole situation happened in 2020. We're in 2025. We went through a whole presidential election cycle, and we still dealing with this.
Yeah, and people like they're now dropping information after he been locked up for many years and all this other stuff. I say they let those people retrial whatever they want to do. I just want to be out of it at this point. I have no idea what the facts are. Apparently, there's like a lot of prosecutorial misconduct and all this other stuff that is going on. Like, I mean, that's all a possibility. And you do with those things what happens in the process when those things are occurring and you've been locked up. You do whatever you got to do, sir. If it gets you out of jail, enjoy.
They could
lying. I'm sorry that you did that. If she's not lying, I'm sorry you're going through this. At this point, I don't know, and I've invested enough time in it. So whatever happens. I don't think music from either ever again. To be honest with you.
Before we move forward, though, Ty, I need to get your reaction to this. How do you feel about Drake being Team Tory on this and publicly putting out there that he's signing petitions? Because you went really hard for Drake when Kendrick Lamar ended his career. So, like, how do you feel?
I want to be very clear about that situation because there was a lot of misunderstanding there in you guys' responses, and so I was absolutely not going hard for Drake. Drake's place in the music industry cannot be replaced by Kendrick Lamar. I think Kendrick Lamar was used by the machine to do whatever it is he tried to do. Yeah. I'm not impressed by his song. I think it was over.
But Drake
it won Song of the Year, Record of the Year.
I was scared by that.
And quit it.
I thought it was divisive. I thought it was ridiculous, and I didn't enjoy it.
Okay, so are you okay with Drake's?
I don't think Drake should be out running his mouth about situations if he doesn't have the facts.
Okay,
I think
you gotta go.
He should do that.
Drake is Canadian, and so is that boy, and they stick together.
I don't like the divisiveness of Drake.
Not
black enough. Aaron's is not black enough. I think it's wildly inappropriate.
Okay, we gotta go. This actually went down a while ago. Snoop Dogg hit the stage at Trump's crypto ball. You remember this? It made a big deal.
Yes.
And people were upset because Snoop supports Trump. And people were asking what Snoop doing at a MAGA party. Well, now months later, we're finally getting answers, and he's not just talking. He's actually clapping back at people who thought that he was on some BS.
30 minutes or 30 years, right? So how long did I DJ for that night? 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Right? So David Sachs, which is the head of crypto. So say, for example, Ebro is David Sachs. He's been my friend for 15 years. Ebro gets a job from the White House to go do some crypto business when me and Ebro been doing crypto business since it started. So imagine that relationship that I have with Ebro, and he gets the job at the White House, and then Ebro says, hey, Snoop, I have an event. There are some very important people there that's going to help with the initiatives that you want to do dealing with the community in the hood. We need you to show up. We got a bag for you and a bag for the community. We just need you for 30 minutes. Boom. Ebro, I'm there. Show up, do the show, go back to the public. Man, why he do that for him over here? Right. Why he represent him over here when all I did was something for him over here for my people over there?
Does this change about anything that you see with Snoop Dogg's decision to DJ the party?
Well, I personally will never forget hearing Snoop Dogg say, I'm not performing for him. Who gonna do it? Is it gonna be you? Who gonna be the first one? Who gonna be the first rapper to perform for Donald Trump? Will it be you? I remember him saying that. I also remember him thanking Donald Trump for pardoning his friend. I think it was like Michael Harris or something like this, like a co-founder of Death Row. I remember him being pardoned. I remember Snoop Dogg thanking him. That's the reason why you did it. And that's just that. Like, you're making excuses now when really you should take the Nelly route. Because I was really upset with Nelly. And Nelly like pretends like it never happened. And he's just like, what? What performance with Donald Trump? I don't know what you're talking about. And that's what Snoop should do too.
You remember that scene in The Real Housewives of Atlanta when Nene had that man and he bought her a ring and he was saying all his nonsense. She was like, well, whatever that means.
What
are you saying?
Watch.
He was trying to do something for him over here, but for his people over there.
What he should have just said is bling bling. Is mad. A bling bling.
He did say that though, because he said, I got a bag for you. So you mean to tell me you got paid for this? You weren't doing nothing for me that you got paid for.
That was it. You sold out.
And it helped the community in what way? What was that last part? How did the bag that he got?
I don't think Ebro tied the bow on that one. I think he's kind of let it go. Yeah, I don't think Ebro's doing investigative, hard-hitting journalism on Apple Music.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I wanna know like what specifically, what is this, like a community event? Like, did he raise money for his community? Is that what happened?
He's got to, he's got to go on Shannon Sharp to get the real journalism out.
Oh, please.
There, so we not buying it, Unc.
And let's not call Snoop Dogg uncle too, because he's no uncle to us.
He not Uncle Snoop.
No, thank you.
Every time we call Unc, they disappoint us. Shannon Sharp disappointed us. Snoop Dogg done disappointed us.
Obama.
Unc's never disappointed us. All right, that was the scoop. For more of the scoop, hit us up on TikTok at BroTalk Live.
I got a question.
Greetings and salutations, all. It is now time for Q&A, the part of the show where you ask us questions and we pontificate. We do our level best to give you an answer worth your time. Today's subject matter is X marks the spot. My word. My. I feel like I need to comment because I say this regularly. Oh, Jason, are you ready to mark us up the spot? Here we are. No need to filibuster. I'm engaged to an amazing woman. We've been together 2 years, planning a beach wedding this fall. Oh, you played. Everything's great, except for one awkward thing. She has a giant tattoo of her ex's name on her rib cage. And no, it's not some faded tiny thing in Comic Sans. It says Mike in full cursive across her ribs with a literal rose underneath. You can clearly see it if she's in a bikini or wearing anything remotely revealing. I didn't bring it up early on because I figured she'd get rid of it eventually. But now that we're planning the wedding, I finally asked if she'd ever consider removing it or covering it, and she shut it down immediately. She said it's part of her story, and that I'm being controlling and insecure. I don't want to make it a bigger deal than it is, but it does bother me. Like, this is our wedding. I'll be saying vows to her while Mike's name is hanging out on her ribs like an uninvited guest. Am I being unreasonable for wanting it gone before we get married? Or is this just one of those deal with it, dude kind of things? What do you all think?
Mike is a crazy
part of her story. A very embarrassing end to her engagement.
I mean, embarrassing.
Like, there's no way in hell.
There's no way you're getting married to her with Mike on her?
There's no way in hell I'm getting married to her with Mike on Mike's name.
You got engaged to
Mike done tattooed his name across her heart, and he needs to come get her.
You didn't have an issue with it for 2 years. 2 years, even through an engagement in there, and now you have an issue with it because your friends
I
and
mean, he
family.
could have genuinely thought she'd remove it. Like, I think logically, I'm like,
I don't genuinely think he's
but-
going to do anything. If I want you to get rid of a tattoo, I'm not going to genuinely think. I'm going to genuinely drive you to the store. I'm going to genuinely sit you in that chair. You're going to get it covered up, and then you're going to post a picture of your side, and you're going to say, "He said it has to end."
Is Mike still alive? Because Mike is coming to get her. You need to get away from that situation. Mike is coming to get that lady.
Would you pay for it?
I'm not paying for anything. Mike is coming to get her.
Mike to pay
Why
for
are you dragging her across the beach?
Well, you want it gone. Mike doesn't want it gone. You're the one who wants it gone. So
She gonna want it gone too, unless you want me to
drive.
gone.
Because you said you would drive her to the spot, and
Yes.
you would sit her in the seat. I was waiting for you to say I would pay for it, but you never said that.
You always take it too far.
I mean, if you want it gone.
So I'm supposed okay. If I pay for this, if I pay for you to get that tattoo removed, you're gonna get my name put on there, and I want Dexter across the forehead. That's what I want. Make that a part of your story.
Honestly, I don't think I would have continued dating her once I saw Mike. She crazy. Like, are you putting people's name?
Oh, so you wouldn't date a girl that had someone else's name tattooed on them?
No, because he's coming to get her. I'm not competing with him. He's coming to get her.
Kobe
You know
Shane
how
is
nutty. You know how nutty you have to be to tattoo someone's name largely across your body. Like, they own you. I'm not coming. I'm not being a part of that. They own Mike. Own.
What if Mike was the love of her life and he got killed?
Well, that means he's not even going to see that tattoo, so he's not worried about the tattoo. He's
the love of
gone.
her life from where?
I think if you really want it done, you got to offer to pay for it, and then
I'm not dealing with it. Why is Mike's name? Mike lives down the street. Why is his name tattooed across your body? Mike doesn't go anywhere.
Thought it would be forever. It ended up not being forever, and now she's moving.
Y'all moved to Southwest, and Mike still lives in the North.
Okay.
Yo, I'm not.
So Jason, if we decide like we're not going to pay for it, that means, and let's say this is you. You say you decide I'm not going to pay for it, right? And your wife still, y'all do go through with the wedding, and then she's in her bikini one day, and your cousin Eric says, "Hey, I see your wife has Mike tattooed on her. You gonna be okay with that?" Because he's not gonna say it gently. So are you gonna be okay with it?
Not say it gently at all.
So it's up to you how you want to
It
handle
would
the
be
situation.
awkward to have to explain who Mike is, but how mad can I be if I didn't offer to remedy the situation?
Where is Eric? Because why is Jason talking this foolishness?
Is it foolishness?
Where is Eric? Eric, please.
Because let me tell y'all what's going to happen.
This is not
Jason's gonna call Eric and be like, "Who is Mike? And why is his tattoo?" And Mike and Eric is gonna go find Mike and beat the rib cage off of Mike.
And then Mike is going to pay for her to get that removed. That's what. So this is what you do. This is the answer to our question. Call Eric.
Call Eric. That's what you do, brother. If you don't want to deal with it no more, and she won't get Mike's name off there, call Eric. We can solve all of this right here and there.
Just to go into like the mental space of I'm about to drag you across the beach, pay for a ridiculously expensive wedding, and you have tattooed somebody's name all the way across your ribs, and you won't even.
But I didn't just get it tattooed.
And I'm gently approaching you like this is an option. Oh, would you might consider? I'm telling you, okay.
We need to dial something back because why are you getting married on the beach in the fall when the tide is higher and the winds are whipping?
Because he want that brave to drag her ass away because she out of her mind.
Well, also, if you do that, it's a little cheaper. So
we do not support murder or life insurance fraud. But
it can't be life insurance if that tide sweep her away. Now, what you really get see
the tide sweep me away primary Mike's name tattooed across the chest.
We got to get into the details, right? The reality is Mike might got that insurance money. That policy might be in his name.
Look, so you gotta make sure you present as Mike's wife because you never know.
Well, I think you can present his wife without a tattoo on your rib cage, but I get what you're.
Imagine you having a thought on Mrs. Person report. Your name is Biff. I'm like, yeah, my wife's missing. Anything to recognize? Yeah, she has a huge Mike tattooed across her ass. Is Mike your middle name, sir? No, it's her ex-boyfriend before. You lost your mind. I'll be trying to be civil on this show.
And like, the next step, y'all have a baby. She'll be like, let's name the baby Mike.
You know damn well the baby gonna be Michael.
I already got the tattoo.
You got the tattoo. You might as well. You know,
not Junior, Michael. It now represents our son.
Yeah.
I would not go.
Mike's a crazy name to get tattooed on you too. Like,
At least it's short though.
Yeah, strange.
You know, like crazy.
But that's
scared to get Mike's name removed. That's what it is.
That's a nickname. That ain't even.
That's right. It's abrupt. Like it's such an abrupt name to have tattooed.
It's for Michael Jackson.
You got Mike
Jackson.
Michael, not Michael.
Yeah, I would take that lie. I'd be like, oh yeah, it's Michael Jackson. I'd be the fool. At least lie. It's my ex-boy.
Ain't did no piece of lying because she know you soft.
And don't have no respect for you.
Don't got no respect.
Now he's not gonna watch the show no more.
Don't do that to our view. Don't do that. All right, come on, wrap this thing.
Look, all right, real quick. Let me go through and ask this. Hey Dex, is there any Mike's tattooed on your wife?
No, but she does. Never mind. No, she does have like this like Chinese like symbol, and I'd be like, what does that mean? Like now I think that means Mike, and I gotta go. We gotta make an appointment this weekend.
Jason, your wife got any Mike's tattooed on her?
Ain't no Mike's. My dad knows. No.
You got any Mike's over there?
No.
All right. You see that? These three men have wives that respect them. Your wife don't respect you. That's why Mike is still on there. You playing in her face, trying to have a wedding on a beach in the fall. You see, you got the man.
I would be okay if my wife had Mike. It was her dad's name. I'd be like, solid.
We feel you. Shout out to Christopher Marshall, a baby who was just born to BroTalk fame. A friend of the show, Jonathan, had a baby 2 days.
If you announce my baby live on the thing, we would have.
The baby's already been on the news. So
the baby's on the news.
Yeah.
They got
posted on social media.
Really. I don't know, but the baby was on the local news. Like, what do you want?
Not in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Well, look, you just know what to do. You know your boundaries.
Do you have a BS? Whatever you have.
No, because the time is like
For more questions, comments, concerns, do email us at www.brotalklive.com/questions. Jason.
So press record and let you feel me.
All right, let's see what's going to the BroTalk Awards 2025, which will go down. If it's your first time watching, we do the BroTalk Awards every December to wrap up the year. We pick a video each week to make the final show, and then we do a crazy vote to see what is the video of the year. So we do 4 videos a week. We do about, 45 weeks a year, something like that. That's a lot of videos. That's 160-something videos a year. All right, so we're going to pick the best video from this week's category. It's called Animals. All right, here we go. First one happens in Australia. Apparently, in Australia, the animals get treated like humans, and they don't like the rain either. What would y'all do?
I've been to Australia. I am not surprised that takes place in Australia. Australia is a strange land. You hear me?
A strange land?
A strange land.
I think that looks so cool. And then hearing that music pair with it is just like, I would love to be a part of that. Australia's like my dream. I've never been there, but I do want to go to Australia.
They would try to fight me. I fought a deer once for my cousin Darren.
I remember that.
In high school.
You have no short of animal abuse stories, do you?
You really could have done that to yourself, and get Darren on here to explain that story too.
You're gonna tell it from like an endearing perspective. I think you'll be wildly inappropriate. What are you doing?
I wasn't. I was defending the honor of my little cousin.
What was he doing to your cousin?
What did the deer say to him?
The deer had cornered him. We were on the baseball field. You know how the baseball fields have those little metal fences behind home plate. You know what I'm talking about, Bill?
Yeah, we get it.
You do.
Uh-huh.
So Darren was standing there, right? and then a deer walked up to him, and the deer started going, and then it did his hoofs like this, and so I ran over there and I punched the deer. That's what you got to do. It ran off, and that's just what it was. But I wasn't.
I remember the first time hearing this story. I remember when I first heard the story, I almost peed myself.
Never heard it before, and I don't tell it no more. But I'll tell you,
you tell that story. I must not have been listening. I never heard that in my life.
I tell you this though, you're a better cousin than me because Darren would have been a worn out.
You're a better cousin than me because Darren would have been antler.
Darren would have been up in that gate. Okay?
You and Darren the same age. I ain't running off no deer fighting on there. You gotta fight. Got to fight for yourself.
There you go. He really did. There you go.
Yeah, Darren, you would have been attacked by that deer.
I just want to fight a deer. You punch it in the mouth. That's how you.
I would have got it on film now. It would have been nice to have it as a video.
All right, moving on. We got.
Don't grasp onto her if she wants to go. Just kind of let her go.
She said, "Hold on."
She's like, "Hold up." She said, "Hold up, hold up, hold up."
Oh, right up the skirt.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
You good, bro? Yeah. I'm chilling out. Cool.
He's coming out.
Of course, you coming out. Okay, baby.
No.
I'm freaking out. I'm slamming out on the table.
Slamming it.
I'm the abuser, but you're slamming snakes on the table.
That's a
See,
snake.
I'm not going to volunteer to do something like that. Like do you want to hold? Absolutely not. I do not. I will watch it from a distance. As soon as I pull my shirt, I'm going to freak out. I'm not letting. I don't know what's about to happen.
I only like the vacation animals though. Like when I went, what was it, St. Lucia? I had like a snake around my neck and it was so cool. But those be the ones that be half dead. I like the half dead animals. I don't like the live ones that can kill you or whatnot. Like drug this snake up a little bit before I put it on me.
I know
that tongue would have hit that armpit. You would have been out of here. All right. Next up, we have snake bit.
Thì cái chuyện đó nó đi Adik nyeri narik bog.
Could you?
I'm not trying to start nothing, but I feel like you enjoyed that a little too much. Like you had that snake up there for quite a while. Like you liked it. And then he switched positions. Like you enjoyed it.
Let me tell y'all something. When them snakes get them hooves, them fangs, they get the latching on. They got them like you can't go snatching out because then the venom.
Ooh, that thing would tear you up.
I can't do no snakes. That's why I don't fool. I know where I'm supposed to be, okay? 2 feet on land. Okay, y'all traipsing and y'all in the water. No, come out of there.
Who's that sound?
I'm concerned about that noise you just made, though.
Y'all got to come out.
What was that supposed to be?
That was like the water, like traipsing through the water, like do. No,
that was a good question.
So what would have been your move there? Someone would have had to get a cleaver or something, man.
Watching from the shore, said, "Oh, he's bitten. Call 911."
Look, this would have been me. I would have said this. I would have said, "Jason,
come punch this snake." Pause. All right. Next up, we have polar bear up in the Arctic. This is apparently what happens in Alaska sometimes. You just run into a polar bear when you go outside.
Yeah, very brave guy.
Damn, that guy is brave.
You have a gun, sir. That's the problem.
But he missed. He shot and he missed.
Well, that's on him.
And those are rifles, and it's not like you just don't have multiple rounds in it. You got to reload.
That's on him. He should have stood his ground while that thing was running and took one to the head. Bow! And ensured that he got his target. But that's the problem around here. See.
I think, to be honest with you, that polar bear looked like, you know how puppies like will chase at you a little bit. They want to play. I think that he wanted to play. Like he didn't want to attack you.
That ain't no damn puppy, Gina.
Just give him a pet. He just wanted to play real quick. Just rub him on his head.
And the thing about bears is, like, when you see it, it's already too late. They've been stalking and smelling you for hundreds of miles, days on end.
Not that one. Lazy as bear.
My friend said he was hoping the bear got him. That's so nasty. Why would you do that?
Well, because he
and speaking of,
what do you mean? He's trying to go to work. He
wasn't going to work.
He was not going to work.
Yes, he was coming out of his like little house, and he was just trying to make it to his car.
They live in igloos.
Let me.
That is the projects. Like
he got what he deserved because he should have just.
Well, I think it was just trying to scare it, and it just wasn't scared.
No, I'm telling you,
tried to shoot it. And
when he ran and jumped on that machine, the keys was already in the ignition. You was trying to play. He probably knocked on the bear's door and ran.
Well, you gotta leave
the reaction.
Here's the second thing, right? I wish a polar bear would be scaring me. You calling me, asking me if I'm still coming in. Absolutely not. Are you? I'm moving away from here. I gotta go. I quit forever.
Well, you know they can see Russia from their window. You better start walking over there.
Well, there's more than polar bears over there.
They got bullets too, so you know it's kind of the same thing going on. Jason versus a polar bear, not happening.
Look,
in a steel cage. Let's do that.
Hey, you got this.
I got it.
100 polar bears versus one Jason.
The winner gets a show on BET Plus. All right, which one are we voting for this week, guys? We didn't pick one. We have Shelter. Then we got Snake Pit. We got Snake In.
Just don't grasp onto her if she wants to go. Just kind of let her know.
She said, hold on. She's like, hold up. She said, hold up. Oh,
right up her skirt.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
That's the one for me.
That's the one for me too.
And Polar Bear.
What's wrong?
That thing heard that gunshot and then took off. It wasn't bothering him until the gunshot.
See? That's why
you're always bothering them. But I'm gonna go with this science experiment guy.
Snaking?
Yes.
Up the shirt? Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that one to win, but okay. Snaking is gonna take it. Is it just because the close contact?
That's not the one I would chose the one with him shooting that gun.
Oh, you would have chosen that gun.
Truthfully, my first one was the bears out. I mean, was the deer, because I thought that was like very nice and scenic. But I think for comedy, that man's face is so left his body.
I know. I'm just picturing myself in that situation. It ain't gonna work.
All right. I guess we'll just go with the. I'm sorry, Bill. I did want the polar bear to advance, but it's just not what it's going to be. You can give the seat though for them for teaming up on you. So with that, we'll move to seats. For more of the clips, hit us up on our YouTube page, BroTalk. I messed that all up. YouTube.com/@BroTalkLive.
We gotta get famous while we're still with it, man. Stumbling over our words, messing up. This is time for seats though. So guys, do you actually have seats this week? Or did you have a really
even professionals mess up, and we are better than most professional shows. Don't you forget it.
We are. We gotta be famous quick though. That way I can give my real reaction.
We'll be canceled by the first episode. Oh, I'm gonna give a seat to my dog. So my dog.
More animal abuse.
No, I'm not. It's not a story. Me and my dog have had a wonderful relationship over the past 6-7 months. We've really gotten close. We go to the dog park together. We've really formed a sort of rhythm with each other. But one thing that she does that I really don't understand is that she attacks bees. And I don't know if I'm rubbing off on her, my disdain for other animals is rubbing off on her. But we have a bush in our backyard, and literally she'll just stand there, and it's like because it's spring, flowers are like pollinating, right? So there are a lot of bees coming around trying to, pollinate, all of the, I don't know how plants work, but all of the plants. So there are a lot of bees around. And so they're minding their business pollinating the plants, and my dog is literally biting the bees, biting them with her mouth. And then the bees are like stinging her, and she doesn't care. She'll swipe them down and she'll eat it. Today, I walk out, like I'm getting ready for the show, so I'm grabbing my microphone and everything. I look out the window, and she's like rubbing her face on. She has a pillow outside. She's rubbing her face on the pillow. I assume because a bee just stung her in her freaking face. And I'm like, leave it alone. What is wrong with you? So my seat's gonna go to my dog for fighting bees. Get better.
Let me jump in next since we're animal related here. I'd like to give a seat to the entire country and continent of Australia.
Okay.
Why? We just saw them.
Well, that's why. Australia is home to the most dangerous, most violent, most volatile, most poisonous, etc., 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 etc. All the animals you can name that are the most, they live in Australia. Why are people in Australia? What were y'all doing down there? Why colonize it?
So some would say that America has the exact same thing.
That's incorrect.
Except its people.
That's well, we're not talking about that. We're talking about actual.
So the animals. So maybe all the animals should go to Australia, and all the people should come to America.
No, you hear me, okay? Australia should be left alone the way it was originally.
Okay, how was that?
I went on a trip. Well, so the Brits got down and they started using it as a prison. I went to Australia, and they said to us, before you the first thing was that all the sheets were white. Everything was. I said, well, this is strange. Why has everybody got white sheets and everywhere? Well, if you laid down with the most dangerous rattlesnake, you'd like to see it, right? If the most dangerous and most poisonous spider crawled up in your, excuse me.
Oh, so they see it. They can tell the difference. Okay.
Before you slide your hands up under your pillow when you lay down, you got to check for spiders and snakes. Before you stick your foot up in your shoe.
The big behind spiders. Oh my god.
Giant ones. You got to check
your
shoes. You got to dump your shoes first because your shoes are a dark spot and they like to coil up in there before you sit on the toilet, before you go to the bathroom, before you brush your teeth, you got to check for these. Why am I checking every single day?
Sounds like growing up in Mississippi in the 90s.
I was watching something. These snakes that like roll up in a circle and roll down the hill really quickly and like attack you, so you can't like walk uphill. You have to like. I was like, I can't live with that.
Would you rather live in Alaska or Australia?
Australia. It's scary as hell. It's scary as hell over there.
So you would rather live in Australia?
There's an actual season called snow spider season where the spiders weave webs in a forest and it looks like it snowed. Why are we there? What are we doing?
So I was asking, would you rather live in Australia or Alaska? You guys said Australia or Alaska?
No. I would rather live right where I live right now.
Oh.
So now Philly ain't so bad. Okay. You know how to navigate the YNs? Okay.
I'd much
rather
a
YN.
YNs.
He is a YN.
They eat. Never mind.
They one of y'all.
I'm just saying they easier.
Okay.
That's
knock on wood.
What I want to say.
Let's pray, knock on wood, and all that jazz. Because the way things are going.
I'm just saying, Australia. I'm sure it's a lovely home for the people who grew up there and lived there. It's just for me.
If y'all not watching Australia.
Oh, Cole's giving us a bit of history about why the Brits ended up in Australia.
Yes, I said that it was used as a prison. The British used it as a prison initially.
Like Alcatraz.
Yes, that's exactly what they send them people down there, like that little boy that they kidnapped and that little girl that was the queen, that was supposed to be the queen. The Plantagenets, they shipped them on down there, and they never heard from them again.
Oh.
Well, at least they can see koala bears.
Was that where Hitler was? Did you say?
No, he went to Argentina with Juan Perón.
He said when he went. I haven't seen, but I don't quite know who this is going to. I guess Life. I have a quest with some friends of mine to lose 15 pounds by Father's Day. Right? Very simple, very easy.
Very what?
Simple, easy. 15 pounds. It's not like, I mean, you have a month to do it. Like you got time. So one of my go-tos is cucumbers. So I've been making like cucumber salads, cucumber shakes. Like I've been really into this cucumber kick. Today I look up and they say cucumbers are now being recalled because there's a salmonella outbreak. I ain't never heard no salmonella outbreak with freaking Taco Bell. So like the 15 pounds I'm supposed to lose by Father's Day, I'm just not going to do it because it can't be healthy.
Gosh, you can't be out on the block eating cucumbers. What does that look like?
No, I chop them up. I make like salads and smoothies and stuff like that. Like and I eat them by themselves.
Cucumber smoothie? I can't take no cucumber smoothie.
Could you imagine Dex on the corner at the corner store outside of the bodega, like with the cucumber, with a bag of cucumbers?
So
I love the cucumber though.
So I tried. I really did try.
Okay. Well, we wish you the best, and we hope that those arteries don't clog up. Maybe you and Bill can hit the gym together.
Maybe.
Absolutely not. I'm about to go get that shot that everybody else is getting.
The shot?
I would. Well, I'm trying not to get electrocuted.
Please. When y'all see me next week and I got a skinny little neck and I got this little bobblehead around, y'all gonna know exactly what it is.
You about to get the Zippy?
Oh, I'm Zippy me. Okay.
I feel like they would give me Ozempic and I wouldn't like the results, and I'd be like, "Can you shrink a little bit over here? Like, can you change that? Like, it wouldn't work for me."
Bill, them cheeks is going to stay. They're just going to thin out that neck.
Could you imagine with these heavy cheeks?
That neck looks so crazy.
And I don't have like real friends who would be like respectful of me, my new body shape. Y'all would say it. Y'all would be like, "Oh, you look crazy as hell." Like out.
They would ridicule you if you walked around here with Ozempic.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Yeah, because you're the type, Dex, that would lose like muscle mass too, so you would look all stripped.
Like I'm sunken in, stupid, like walking around looking like this.
You look crazy. Well, you guys should try it though. I want to see what the impact would be on.
I'll get on it. I'll see what it looks like. Why not?
Okay. Yeah.
Let's do it. No. This how you know
muscles. I'm gonna look crazy.
Todd, don't do it because you know me. If I see one person do it, monkey see, monkey do. I'm going to the doctor tomorrow.
I can't take that neck. I need my neck to feel out good. How can they fix that?
You probably
that's the first part that goes.
It is the first thing to go, but you probably need to put that little barbell on your neck and do the little shoulder ups.
You're gonna look real crazy.
They say honestly, if you keep exercising and working out while you're doing it, then that doesn't.
If I was gonna diet and exercise, I wouldn't be taking Ozempic.
That's the part.
Right. But so Ozempic is supposed to like help speed it along. It's not supposed to replace it. But people are using it to replace it, and that's how they get that neck.
Hello.
Yeah.
Everyone who has Ozempic the absolute best and continued health ahead.
And people using off-brand Ozempic. So you got like,
why are you wishing them help? They skinny. Why they got all that? They got what they need.
There is a new one. Yeah, Ozempic's actually not the number one brand.
Manjaro is another one.
Yeah, that's Manjaro. Yeah.
Try Dripper.
Y'all been really looking into this stuff.
Oh, Dex does.
Hello. Like I mean,
I don't have a need.
You can tell LA Fitness. I can tell you that.
I have a need for it. I'm just not doing it. I'm just going without my needs. I have a need for it.
Don't forget, start thinking about Father's Day, everybody. Now,
25 days away.
If you would like to get the BroTalk Live team a Father's Day gift,
that's so sweet.
a little something where we can get like a little coffee tip or something like that for Father's Day. But
you can just subscribe to us on all of our streaming platforms. We would like
no,
that.
but we want more. I asked for that for my birthday. We can't be doing repeats, okay? But no, seriously, thank you guys for tuning in. We really appreciate you guys. Do like Dex said and subscribe to us on YouTube, Twitter or X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We're in all 5 places right there. At BroTalk Live, we have the handle for all of those. And make sure that you comment on all of our posts and all that stuff. Interact with us. We here, we live, we real. Shout out to Dex for doing some social media work, and shout out to our social media team that we have behind the scenes here at BroTalk Live. You guys really do a great job.
They sure do.
All right. For Dex, for Ty, for Bill, this has been another edition of BroTalk Live. We will see you guys next week. Peace.